Morning, morning, morning. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Love 500 and welcome back to an install and review video. Today we are reviewing and installing what you see in the box behind me, which is an Xtrons touchscreen Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all singing, all dancing, touchscreen stereo for a Facelift 2016 onwards, Abarth or Fiat 500. It's custom made for this car. If you've got a facelift car, so the one with the touchscreen already in it, 2016, some of them are late 2015 onwards, this will work in your car. Steering wheel controls will work, your mileage won't flash, it will work like a dream. This is an unboxing to start with. We'll go through what's in the box and then we'll install it. Let's go. This. Just to emphasise, this is for a facelift car, so this is for a 16 plate onwards. Some later 15 plates are facelift, so it's basically if you've got the touchscreen, the existing touchscreen, not the letterbox shaped one, this is for you. So here we go, user manual. We have a big bag of wires. Now some of those wires you might not need. I tend to, if you're going to put an amp in your car, then you need these, all of them. You're gonna use basically most of them. If you're gonna put an amp in, you're gonna put a reversing camera in, all that sort of stuff. Dash cam, you can plug all of those in. There's aerials for all sorts of things in there. We'll go through those in a bit. And then you've got the unit itself, and that's all there is in the box. No more, no less. So we'll get the box out of the way, and then we'll show you the unit. Let's get it out the right way. Okay, let's take it out of the bag. So as far as Xtrons concerned, I've only ever installed a pre-facelift Xtrons, and I have to say that was far superior to any of the cheap Chinese ones you might get on AliExpress or eBay and so on, wherever you decide to buy them. Far superior. And as regards to the facelift ones, now I've installed a facelift touchscreen which looks very similar to this one, not an Xtrons, and it was alright actually. It was alright. I got it from AliExpress. It was less than half the price of this. So you know, you pay your money, you take your choice. These are by far superior, without a shred of a doubt. That's the model number of this one, IA72500 FLS. You have a GPS slot in there. Because it's Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, I never use the inbuilt GPS. I always use it from my phone. I use Waze and so on. Apple CarPlay, so obviously Waze appears on there. That's your reset button, should you ever need to reset it. You've got a nice volume button in the middle, which I find is really handy having it rather than one side or the other, because you find that most cars, the Fiat 500 included, has a volume over this side. Because they're made for the left-hand drive market. They don't alter the stereos for the right-hand drive market. So putting one in the centre is actually a really good idea. Let's just very briefly go through these cables that we've got in here, and I'll just briefly explain what they are, very briefly. Whoops. So back in the old days when we had ordinary DAB, you'd get one of those and that was a DAB aerial. In this case, what they are, that's a Wi-Fi, that's a 4G aerial. So you can have it running on 4G. So you can use, you know, if you put a SIM card in, you can have it so you use data, and that's the aerial for that. I'm not going to install that because I've got no intention of doing that whatsoever. You've got your aerial lead there. In there is your GPS. So your GPS, some people place it behind the stereo or on top of the stereo, or on the old facelift, pre-facelift models, they actually stick it to the top of the cage. I always prefer to stick it in the bottom left-hand corner of the windscreen. The reason for that is, although you don't need line of sight to satellite, you do get a better signal, especially if you were in a weak signal area. So that's what I always like to do. Flying USB lead, so You can plug in USB sticks, dash cams, all sorts of things into there, including a DAB Plus aerial. And you've got another one there as well. I'm not sure which one's which. They are colour coded for some reason, and I'm not sure which one's which, so I'm not going to guess. You've got your main loom there, so plug and play, main loom. You've got your all-important CAN bus box. Now that CAN bus box is what will make your steering wheel controls work and will stop your mileage from flashing. If it doesn't do it when you first plug it in, there are settings on there that you can choose different settings to get it to work. You've then got, never quite sure what that is. I've got a feeling that that is something to do with the existing USB in the car, and I'm not 100% certain about what that is. I think that might be to get to allow that USB to work. So whether that means you plug that into there, quite possibly, which will then allow, and then you plug your USB thing out of the car into there, which will mean your original USB will work as well, which is quite a handy thing to have. That's your SIM card slot in there if you want to put a SIM card in. You've got various subwoofer outputs and so on, microphone, amp connections and all that. Camera in for various cameras, brake light there. So that if you put that to ground, that will allow you to watch videos on the move, if you so desire. It's meant to go to the handbrake, but if you just ground it, put it on earth, it'll come on and it'll work all the time. So there's some inputs there for your camera as well. And I think that's about it. Coaxial out. Don't know what that one's for. No idea what that one's for. Oh, that's just, yeah, no, I don't know. There might be a CAN bus. No, I think that one goes into the CAN bus. No, it doesn't. We don't read the manuals, we just plug them in. But if you want to read the manual and it'll tell you what to do, you can. But the good thing about these, all of these stereos, the old Chinese ones as well, is all of these connections are different. So you've got 4-pin, 2-pin, 3-pin, 5-pin, multi-pin, and however many pin that is. So you can't put them in the wrong one. They only fit into one, which is quite good. Your 4G connector there, which I'm not using. Your GPS connector there. Guarantee that this is an independent review. I've paid good money for this stereo. How much I paid for it, I can't remember. So I'll put it on the screen now. Okay, so I don't want you to look at this and be daunted by the amount of wires. It is easy to plug them all in. Everything is now plugged in. The only thing I haven't plugged in, and there is a reason for that, is the GPS. Now with the GPS, I've learned from my mistakes in the past that it's easier to do. So I get a long tool with a magnet on the end, which you shove down to retrieve lost bolts, that type of thing. What I do is I sellotape or I tape the end of that to it, and then I feed it behind here till it comes up here, and then that's a much easier way. So much easier to get it through there, and then that gets stuck in the bottom of the windscreen just there. Much easier to do it that way around than try and do it the other way around, because you've got to then feed the larger end through. So I learned that from the last one I did. So we have plugged in, as you saw me earlier, we plugged in wherever it's gone, not sure where it's gone, the USB, which will make that still work, which is quite good. So that's it, everything else is plugged in. I haven't plugged it into the main loom yet, which is there. The main loom into there. I haven't done that yet because I thought before I do that I'm going to feed these cables. So the other cables you've got to feed down the back, of course, is your USB. Now the ideal place for those, or the only place for those really, is in the passenger footwell. So you need to feed them down there. So I'm going to sit in the passenger side and try and get my arm down there and feed it. But however, there is a better way. Again, using that magnetic tool, you can feed it down, which then saves you having to take out that, because sometimes it's easier if you just take out the parcel tray, or in the Facelift case, of course, you've got, or if you've got an American car, you've got a proper glove box, which you don't have in the pre-facelift car. You've just got the tray, which is easier to take out, but you can take that out. Doing it this way, you don't need to. So the only one from the car aerial left is, and I think I got this the right way around, the grey one I believe is the DAB. As I said, they don't come with DAB, which is a shame. But the DAB Plus can be plugged in to that other USB socket. Unfortunately, I don't know why they don't put an ordinary plug for DAB on it, but that may be something to do with the fact it's DAB plus, which is via an app rather than, you know, part of the actual stereo itself. So we've got one of the leads here, which is the red one, and the other one wherever it's gone, which I need to feed down. So I'll do that now. I'll show you the tool in a minute, but we'll do that now. And then so we're dropping them out down here. And then what we'll do is we'll plug in the main loom, and we will put it in position, feed all the cables down the back as they need to go down the back, and then we'll power it on. Okay, so we got the USB cable down there. We don't actually need to feed the other one down because of course we're using it plugged into the actual the loom, so that will just tuck behind. We don't need to worry about that. They could do with being a bit longer, and it will come through a little bit more. It's just obviously because the stereo is sort of sitting like that at the moment. So so what we've done is we've fed this magnetic tool behind there, so it's literally just behind the panel. Put the pointy end in there first, that way, from that direction. Pointy end in that way, from that direction. And then we've just taped the end of the GPS receiver to there, and then if I just pull that through, you will see, I'm trying to do it one-handed. Obviously it's a lot better if you do it two-handed. You can feed it whilst you're pulling. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do it now without doing it two-handed. It might just come off. Yeah, I'm going to have to put it down and do it, feed the wire, but you get the idea of what I'm doing. Okay, so there it is, all pushed in. I haven't done any of the screws up or anything like that yet. It's just all pushed in. Plenty of room to push. Unlike, as I say, unlike the pre-facelift, there was loads of room behind there to be able to push everything out of the way. With the GPS cable, what I've done is I've just taped it to the bottom, so when you put the vents in, it won't get in the way. Yeah, that's the best way of doing that. I mean, you could take it up over the top, but I find it's just as easy to do that. Now you have got more cable than you need here, but you can just push it. Some of it can stay behind here. Again, you need to get it out of the way of the air vent, and then you'll run it up here. Sorry, you can put it up here. Some people put it here. I prefer to put it down the bottom. Doesn't really matter where you put it, as long as it's got the line of sight. So I think what we need to do now, in case you were wondering what that is, that's the plug for the coloured panel. So you don't need to worry about that. But you do when you come to put the coloured panel back on, of course. We'll come around, we'll switch the ignition on, and we will get it working. Now, there is one thing that I don't know if it's going to work on this car or not. Let me just explain to you. So the one thing that may not work, and I don't really know until such time as I turn it on, with the pre-facelift cars, as you know, you set your time and date, which displays on your speedo, from the buttons on your speedo. On the facelift cars, that's all set on the stereo itself. Now, I did a third-party cheap and cheerful version of this, not on Xtrons, in a car previously. And if you go and look at the link above, you will see that if you want to buy yourself a cheaper version, which isn't an Xtrons, isn't as good, but it is still quite good. And with that, and I installed the same one in somebody else's car as well that they asked me to install for them. And when I set it up so it uses a time server, so it will use your internet connection to set the time and keep the time correct. Now, I don't know if that's because I did that, but when I did the one for the girl a couple of months or so ago, her time was flashing because I disconnected the battery. And of course, what we couldn't do, because we didn't have the Fiat stereo in anymore, we couldn't set the time, because you can't do it on a facelift from the speedo. It has to be done from the stereo. Now, I don't know if the Xtrons takes care of that or not. I don't know. We will find that out as we go through it and with the settings. So let's stop talking. I'll come around the driver's side, we'll get the ignition on, we'll fire it up for the first time, and we'll see what it does. We hope we've got a radio signal. We hope the GPS works. I'll just put that up on the dashboard for the time being. As we know, we've got no DAB at the moment, but we hope that USB is going to work down there as well. So let's do it. Right, okay, you ready for this? So this is an Abarth convertible. Doesn't matter whether you've got an Abarth or a Fiat 500. It's exactly the same installation. It makes no difference whatsoever. Right, let's fire up the ignition. Don't need to turn the engine on. Just turn the ignition on, and then it should fire up as it has. There you go, the Xtrons. So it takes a little bit longer the first time. Once it's fired up the first time and booted, it should then stay sort of soft booted, if you like, so it comes up much quicker. So there we have it. That's it started up. So first of all, I mean, we have got a door open already, so we haven't got a door open signal on there. I think what we need to do is connect our phone to it. If we go into settings, network and internet, car infotainment is there's a lot of settings in there. If you go to about device, you click on the cog icon and it varies what the password is for this. So at the moment we don't have any flashing mileage. We don't know whether the steering wheel controls work, but we got can type in there. So here we go do swap doors. So this is where we swap doors if the door open signal is wrong, and we can drive in position left. So what we're going to do is how do we do that? Right, there you go, just press it and do it right. So that says right. Outside temperature's on.
Every morning while my coffee brews.
So we got stations, we started programming them in, just do the search as normal. So I programmed him heart, capital and smooth for the time being.
Including the pain relief selector tool on boots.com.
But that all seems to work nice. So that's good, so the radio works. So I'm not going to go through every setting on here, you know, you can have a play around with it yourself if you get one, but one of the big bonuses of having this particular system is you get the DSP, which is a can't even say it, a digital signal processor. So it basically gives you a lot more settings for sound, smart bass, delays, filters, plus an equalizer, lot more settings to fine tune your stereo. Now I am at some point going to upgrade the front speakers in this car, but I do find when you install these Xtrons or others, you do get a better quality sound out of them. Whether they've just got better amplifiers in them than they have in the Fiat ones, I don't know, but they are generally better. But you can play around with the settings on there and it makes a big difference. We can obviously add our phone to it, which we'll do in a second. This is the basic of the Android, so you know, you can, once you're connected to a network, you can download whatever you like. DAB Plus is the app to use for DAB. However, I have been reliably informed that there's an app called DAB-Z which works much better. So when my DAB aerial comes, or actually they have come, I'm going to have to order a new one. When I get a DAB Plus aerial, we'll show it as well on a separate video maybe. But we want to do a test on the GPS as well to make sure the GPS antenna is working. So what that will do is that will show how many satellites that is picking up. It's picking up quite a few there. We've got one which isn't very strong, but the rest of them are nice and strong. So that will work quite nicely. Okay, it's still not working, so I've just been having another look at this, thinking that there's nowhere for me to plug this in. So we've got an orange and a white wire, and then I spotted this, an orange and a white wire, and it's got the same amount of pins. There's only actually 2 pins connected to it, which would make sense because there's only 2 wires. But that says on there RCA3, so I'm not quite sure why I would be connected to that, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to see if they're in the right place, the far right hand side, so I'm going to try it and then see if it works. I don't know, it's a strange one, that. I think this might be potentially the same error that I used before. The same error that happened before, which has caused it not to work. So let's try it. Right, without me even doing anything, if I press the button, watch, it's working. That's what it was. So that's the little blighter that wasn't connected, that I didn't realise I had to connect. That's exactly the same mistake I made on the other one. How ridiculous. Oh well, stupid me. But at least it's working now. So I'm going to take a little short video so I can post it back and let people know exactly what the problem was. And that's all it was. Can you believe that? Right, so it's all pushed back. I've just put the screws in temporarily. We'll get those all screwed in. We'll set the GPS receiver up on the windscreen, and then we can put all this back together again, and then that'll be it. That'll be the full install. So yeah, these are cracking stereos. These are really good. I highly recommend these Xtrons. They just work. They really just do work. Far superior to the cheap Chinese ones you get. Although they are okay, especially the facelift ones. I think I may have already mentioned it, but if you want to see one of the really cheap ones, less than £100, that I installed in a previous facelift car, click on the link above and that will show you it. And then you can decide whether you want to spend £80 or £250. If it's my car, it's an Xtrons. If it's a car I'm going to sell, it's the cheaper ones. But yeah, so we'll come back once we've got it all in place. We'll show you how we run the GPS. We'll do all that, and then we'll wrap this video up. And yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on this stereo. Right, now we're all installed and we're all working properly. We need to get this secured in place. So the first thing we need to do, or the next thing we need to do, is run the GPS. So what we're going to do is we are going to feed this GPS up under here and stick it, sorry, not up under here, we're going to stick it just here, right in the corner here of the dash, just there. So what we need to do is run this cable. So to get that through there is a bit of a gap here that we need to run this through. Now, actually, in hindsight, what I should have done is run the cable that goes to the actual stereo through there first, because now we've got to get that big thing through. So the way we do this, and I'm hoping there's going to be room because I think I made a bit of a mistake there, is we pull off this, and in there is a little gap. Also, if we take this off first, so pull that off a little bit more, and then we need to pull this off as well. So got a trim removal tool to give us a little bit of a helping hand. Once you get it in there, you can get your fingers in a little bit to try and pull it as well. It's just held on with poppers, no screws or anything. There we go. And that pulls off. And underneath there, you will see you have got, if I can get it, pull it out, it won't come right out. There we go. And you need to run the cable. If you're running the cable up here, you need to run it sort of underneath. This is the cabling for your airbag, for this curtain airbag. Just run it behind it or round the side or something like that. It's not that difficult to get it to run. So let me just try and get this fed through. As I say, I should have really done this bit first, but hopefully it will fit through the gap, which it does. Yeah, it fits through there easily. Once you got this little side panel off, it does fit through. There you go. So it's not an issue at all. So depending on where you're going to put it, depends on where you want to put the bulk of the wire that's left over. I think probably what I will do is I will leave it tucked behind the dash here. What I'll do is I'll bunch it together and I'll put a cable tie around it. So I'm just going to run it as I need to. So for this, all we need to do is go across here. That's all we need to do, and come out the other side. There you go. That's that done. Another reason for me taking this off is because I'm going to put in a dash cam. If you want to see a review on this dash cam, it's a Vicol Mini Smart Wi-Fi dash cam. I put these in all my cars now. I'm going to install one in this car. There is a video on this. If you want to get yourself one, it is a really, really good dash cam. It's only front facing, it's not a rear facing as well, but it is it's quite a good price as well. About 25 quid I think it was. Have a click on the link above and you'll see that dash cam in action, and there's a link there where you can buy one. So I'm going to run the cable for that because that will come up here as well, and the dash cam will stick on the window. So I'm just going to do that, then we'll come back, we'll get all this back on again, and then we'll get the dash panel back on, get the 4 screws tightened up, and then we'll be done. There you go. So that's all pushed back into place. I've run the cable for the dash cam as well, which is just on the floor at the moment. So I've tucked all the cable in there, cable tied it in there just to tidy it up a little bit. Make sure it goes underneath the air vent so it doesn't foul when you push the vents back in. And then all we do is we put this back on. You can use the back of your hand, your fist, to bash this back on, or a rubber mallet or something like that. Goes back on relatively easy. There you go, that's all nice and neat. And then we take the little sticker off of the GPS receiver, having cleaned the glass, which I did before I started filming today. Take the little sticker off, And then all you do is you just stick it on the corner of the windscreen like that. There you go. Press it firmly in place. That should stay put. That's it. That's the install done. So that's really out of the way. I'll show you in a second. That's really out of the way. And all the wires are nicely hidden. So all I've got left to do is just tighten up the screws on that's holding the stereo in, and then we'll get that panel back on. Okay, so okay, that's it. It's all secure in there. And the next thing we need to do is, obviously that has been removed. Don't forget that needs to be put back on. And first of all, we need to put the blue panel back on. No, we don't. Next thing we need to do is put the surround back on. So you, be careful there with the, am I putting this the wrong way around? No, that's right. As you can see, it fits perfectly with the Xtrons stereo. It's a perfect fit. Unlike quite often the AliExpress ones on the pre-facelift, never really fit properly. So we've got 4 screws in here that we've got to do up. And then once we've done these up, we can then put the colour panel back on. And that's those 4 done up. And then we want the blue panel. There we go. So we get that. Don't forget to plug the electrical connection back in, just that way round. There you go, that's that plugged in. And then you need to feed it. Oh dear, there you go. Feed it on, and then it just basically pushes into place, and then you've got the screws that go back in. Can't do that bit from this side. I need to go around the other side. Make sure those wires are not in the way, they're not. There we go. And just, again, a bit of brute force to bang it all into place. And then you've got your 2 screws here. And the other screws I'm going to do up at another time, the ones under there that I did, because only basically due to the fact that it's pouring rain. The inside of the car is getting wet now, and so am I. So we'll just get this panel back on. Like that. And then, so if you remember, we turned all the dials all the way to the left. If you turned them to the right, obviously make sure they're still there. Get it in position, and then just push it. And now I've left a little bit of the little white thing. You can see it, so I'll just trim that off. Test them all, make sure it all works nice, which it does. Yep. That's it. That all works fine. So that's that back on. As I say, don't forget you've got to do the screws under there as well, which I will do at a later date. So there you go.
What do they do?
As you can see, it is all working nicely.
They kind of arrived at the same time.
Steering controls work. So it's currently, my phone is in my house, and this is trying to connect to it. So when I moved the car from in front of the house earlier, it did connect. It's probably not going to connect now because it's just that little bit too far away. Yeah, so we won't worry too much about that. But there you go. It's all working perfectly. It fits seamlessly, and it looks OEM, doesn't it? It really does. It's really, really nice. So unless you want to go for brands like JVC, Pioneer, that type of thing, it's always good to buy an Xtrons as opposed to the AliExpress ones. I have mentioned those earlier on, and as I say, I have installed a couple of those, and they're okay. They are okay. Link to those will be in the description as well, but the link to this will also be in the description. Now, I bought this one on eBay, and I did have a discount code, so I got it a little bit cheaper. So you can buy them on eBay, which do tend to be a little bit cheaper. You can also buy them on Amazon. If there's any codes going on Amazon, you know, any discounts, which they often do, you can get them on there. But if you go to the Xtron website and you can buy one on there, there is a 15% discount code, which is Love500, which again, I'll put all this in the description. And so you just need to weigh up, if you want to get one, weigh up which is the cheaper way of doing it, either Amazon with a code or without a code, eBay with a code or without a code, or on the Xtrons website with a 15% discount. That discount code, depending on when you're watching this video, that discount code lasts up until the 31st of December 2025. So plenty of time. So the only mistake I made was with that CAN bus box. I didn't film all of my tribulations trying to get that to work, because I then realised that that was the reason I hadn't plugged that in. So if I make mistakes, I document those mistakes. It's a warts and all video. It's good to, because that's likely that you'll make those same mistakes as I did. So it's always good to include those in the video. I don't edit everything out to make it look like it was perfectly, you know, trouble-free. It wasn't, but that was my mistake. Same mistake I've made before. I won't make that mistake again when I install the next one of these. So yeah, very easy to install. Plug and play. You can plug. You saw me with that dash cam. You can have an Android dash cam that you can plug directly in. In this car, I just prefer to have a separate one, but you can do that if you want. Reversing cameras, all that sort of stuff you can have. Yeah, you can do lots. You've got a manual here. As I say, it's not an instruction manual. It's more of an operation manual, but that goes through quite a lot. Play around with it. See what you can do. If you've got any tips for me on settings, secret settings, when you go into that settings menu, I did feature it in the video, and I think I put some comments on the bottom of the screen. I've already started editing the video, but I put 8888 as the factory code. That does work, and it gives you a certain menu, but if you do 8878, that gives you more choices. Within that menu is where you can set the icon for the door opening, which is now correct because it opens on the right hand side. As default, it opens, you open the right hand door and it shows the left hand door open, and so on. RDS did seem to already be activated on this. Quite a lot of the non-Xtrons ones, it comes not activated. You have to go into those factory settings to actually activate it. So there's lots and lots of settings that you can play around with. Any questions, give us a shout. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you're going to get yourself a new Apple CarPlay, I do recommend this. It seamlessly connects to your phone. It didn't then, you saw, as I say, because my phone's indoors, but it does seamlessly connect. It really works well. So that's it. I hope this video has really helped you. I wanted to put this out there for a little while, and I was just waiting for a facelift car to buy an Xtrons, because the previous one was given to me by Xtrons to review. This one, I've spent my own money on this, so they are quite pricey, but you get what you pay for. So that's it. Thanks for watching. If you're not a subscriber, please hit that button, subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up. I welcome your comments. Until the next one, as always, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.